Thank you for listening to the Midwest Horse Fair Outside the Arena podcast, where we share wonderful real-life stories and expert advice from the equine clinicians and entertainers from around the country who have been a part of the largest 3-day horse fair in the USA. Our first series will include several interviews conducted during the 2024 fair. This is Kenney, the Midwest Horse Fair Coliseum announcer, and we hope you'll all stick around and learn more about the fascinating lives of these experts outside the arena.
Thank you for joining Outside the Arena podcast, part 2 of 2, with 9 times NFR Barrelman and 8 times PRCA Comedy Act of the Year, John Harrison, and PRCA Pro Rodeo announcer, Kenney.
Welcome to the Midwest Horse Fair podcast. We are joined here today with our famous rodeo clown, John Harrison, and the voice of the Coliseum, Kenney.
So we've talked a lot about, rodeo and who you guys are in the arena. Tell us a little bit about any personal interests and hobbies and things like that.
I guess I love to hunt.
Okay.
Hunting's been a big part of my life. Big game hunting or small game hunting and upland bird, pheasant hunting. I went out west. I'd get home off the road in the fall, on the road 250 to 300 days a year, typically 300 days a year. And as soon as I'd get home in October, I'd head out west to go to the mountains elk hunting for a month. And it was the same kind of theory about the fan. It wasn't necessarily to go shoot an elk. It was to go disappear in the mountains for a month.
Absolutely.
I've been in big cities and coliseums in front of crowds and, had to shave twice a day and wear 3 clean shirts a day for 10 months. I was ready to get away. So I fell in love with the mountains hunting. But we raise cattle at home. I sell commercial beef. We hand raise, ranch raised beef, and we do, my family, my wife and I. We got a little boy. I waited till I was the rodeo business made me wait because I was on the road forever and still am. But I was 39 before I got married, and then we waited another. We weren't going to have any kids just because of the crazy society we live in. But we thought, well, if we don't do it, nobody else will, and we want to help. Contribute to
some good stuff, right?
Some good stuff. There you go.
I guess the rural way of life, in the Western culture. So we luckily had a healthy little boy when I was 40, and I wouldn't. Looking back now, I think it was the perfect time because I was at an age where I could truly enjoy every moment. And so he's 8, or he'll be 8 now here in 1st of May. But so I guess hunting and sports has always been a big deal to me. Okay. We ranch, and
all right.
Right now it's. Ranching, hunting, and rodeoing for a living, and trying to do my best to be a good husband and father.
Busy. Yeah. John, how about you?
So we ranch and rope a little bit, but I guess my passion is the want to get ahead, to leave something to my children. Okay. We opened a liquor store, we got rent houses, Airbnbs, commercial rentals. We dove in. There's not much retirement in rodeo, so you had to figure out something that would, when we're retired, what are we going to do? And of course, we got the ranch, but it's a cattle market up and down. You never know what's going to be. So yeah, I love it. I love the real estate side of it, the markets, and trying to find stuff at a sheriff's sale that's really cheap and make money.
How do you balance that while being on the road all the time?
His wife.
My wife.
She takes the credit for it.
He don't balance.
Yeah, solid.
So my wife, she takes care of the rent houses. We have I think 24. I don't even know how many houses. We have 24 houses.
Wow.
And she takes care of that, which is a full-on freaking headache.
Yes.
I'm in a truck with her, and I'm sick of it already after 10 miles.
Okay.
But then, and the liquor store is my baby. That is my thing there. We have the largest liquor store in southeast Oklahoma. Okay. And then the Airbnbs, the tree houses and stuff like that, that's my baby too. And
what's the liquor store called?
One Stop Shop Liquor, Hugo, Oklahoma. Yeah.
And what's the drink of choice for each of you? When you go out, what's the drink of choice that you always reach for?
I'm the easy, the cheap beer Keystone. I'm a Keystone.
That's
Look
an
at that.
Oklahoma thing.
Yeah, roll them lips.
Oh yeah. She thinks she's heard of it.
Yes,
exactly.
yes. Yeah. How about you?
I'm not. I guess.
You're Crown and Coke guy. What do you reach for?
I'm not. I don't really have. I guess. Let me set this up.
I feel like I know your drink.
You do, but because you make me drink. I guess when I started playing music in high school, I was still in high school, and that was what I was doing for a living. We didn't go camping or go to ball tournaments. We played ball too, but I was playing music 3 or 4 nights a week in dance halls and honky tonks when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Playing for a living. So I guess I was around it all the time, and I seen the effects of
100%.
What it could do. I'll have a beer with you. Sure I will.
Yeah, have a beer.
But I guess I just never really latched on to drinking a bunch, I guess, because I was around it at such a young age so much. I didn't.
Not at my house. We sit down every night and have a beer. My wife has a glass of wine. She's margarita mama in the summer. Though,
there you go.
I mean, my wife and I will sit there and have a nightcap. Probably a Pendleton and 7, or
Pendleton.
or 7 and 7, or Crown and 7.
I was gonna say Pendleton and 7.
Yep, Pendleton 7 is probably my drink. I don't like whiskey straight. I don't like. I hate bourbon. I don't like that charcoal bourbon.
So you're not going to be John's number one customer at that one stop shop.
He's that guy who would sit at the counter and talk to you, and the other customer's sitting in line. That's what.
Conversation's healthy.
He's going to tie it up.
But the guy in line, when he buys a bottle of Pendleton, I'll have a drink with him.
There you go. You'll take one of his drinks.
All right, so what would be one piece of advice you would have for someone who's looking to get into your industry?
Maybe become a airline pilot or a doctor.
That has been a theme. People in the horse industry want to be pilots.
Yeah.
Really? Well, we need to be. I've actually, all jokes aside, there will probably be a point in my life where I do own an airplane. Mm-hmm. I've looked into it several. You can actually buy an airplane right now for the same price as a new pickup.
Yep.
Amen.
An older used airplane. Yep. But I hope to own one someday. My little boy loves to fly, and I've spent a lot of time in helicopters with a couple friends of mine. I've spent a lot of time in smaller planes. I enjoy them. We actually need one. I mean, last week I was in South Carolina and here, and then I'll go home, and then back to St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then to Sacramento the week after that, and then to Omaha. I mean, the same way with John. Now, John's going to have a tough time doing it because he has to haul a horse with him.
Yes,
but
true.
Need a bigger plane.
You're going to need a driver.
Back to your question, I guess. I wouldn't ever want to deter anybody from the rodeo business is a wonderful business, but it's in the contract personnel side of it where it's a guaranteed paycheck side. You don't have to win to get paid. The contract personnel where you're hired to do a job, there's very few jobs, to be honest. The number of jobs, the list of opportunities where you can have a full-time income that's worthy of what would be considered a career is very short. I'm not going to deter it because we need new announcers coming on. We need new clowns. We need new acts. We need new scoreboard operators and music directors and bullfighters and pickup men and stock on. We need all of those people. We need new ones all the time, but that list is not extremely long. And so my advice would be don't ever think that it's not impossible. Don't ever think it's impossible because anything's possible. I had no idea that I'd be sitting here at 29 years later, however long it is, and be able to say that I have done this that long and made it's been a very lucrative career for me and my family. It's provided for my family. We don't own the world, but we've got a really nice ranch, and we don't live extravagant. We don't live above our means, but we've got everything we want, and our bills are paid, and we can afford to get to the next one. So I mean, I don't want to deter anybody from doing it, but it's difficult. I think if you have what it takes, your light will shine on its own. The guys don't have. If you're a really, really good bull rider, you don't have to tell anybody. It's going to find its way to the winner's circle. If you're a really, really talented entertainer like John, even if you're a dork, or even if nobody likes you, your talents are. Yeah, I should have pointed over here. But you know what I'm saying. If you have a really good talent, your light is going to shine on its own. So if there's something you want to do, you never know you're good at. I didn't know I was going to be good at this. I'm not saying I am, but I didn't know. I had no idea. But I thought, here's an opportunity. So I tried something way out of my comfort zone, and it's turned into a wonderful career that I would trade for nothing. You could offer me every dollar bill on the planet, and I would not trade it for what little I have now. It's been a wonderful life. So my advice would be work hard, pick out something you like, chase it as hard as you can. Be honest, keep your nose clean, treat people good, and just work hard every day.
Absolutely. We need that on a T-shirt.
That needs to be a country song.
Yeah.
So I got a quick, I know he hadn't told you his story yet, but I want to tell you this one more thing before I forget this. Because this is pretty cool. One of the coolest stories I've ever had happen to me in my life happened about 4 or 5 years ago. So I was working a rodeo in Kalispell, Montana, and luckily I still do it out at Glacier Park in Flathead Valley. One of my heroes, Bob Tallman, had been the announcer there for 20 years, and he had whatever was not there anymore, and I contracted the rodeo, and I've been there now for 15, 16, 18 years or something like that. And 3 or 4 years into it, I was coming down out of the announcers. I'm in the announcer stand at that rodeo at the Northwest Montana Fair and Rodeo. Coming down out of the announcer stand, and there's a young Indian boy standing at the bottom of the stairs. We're in kind of around the Blackfeet Nation up there. This young Indian boy, kind of dressed up, kind of like a cowboy. He said, "Mr. Kenney," and he introduced himself, and he said, "Hey," I said, "Bob Tallman's my hero." He said, "I want to be an announcer." And he said, "I've listened to Bob Tallman my whole life," because he was like, I don't know, 16, 18 years old, and Bob had been there for 20 years, so he'd listened to Bob Tallman his whole life at his hometown rodeo. He said, "Bob's my hero," and he said, "But listening to you the last couple of years," he said, "I really like you. You got a lot of similarities to Bob. And
Good style.
I really, really like listening to you, and I want to do what you do. And I really enjoy listening to you. It really made me feel good." He said, "So what do I do? What do I do to do what you do?" I didn't know how to answer that. So he helped me be a better person and be a better announcer. So I thought about that, and I said, I should know how to answer this. And he kind of cornered me, and it was a real pivotal point in my life. I said, well, I don't really have the answer. I said, I guess 3 or 4 things. Just be honest, keep your nose clean, work hard, and treat people good. And if you have the ability to do whatever it is you want to do, it's going to happen.
It'll take care of the rest.
Just do those things there. Keep those things grounded. Keep those as your common denominators, and it'll fall into place. He said, "Okay, I'll do that." And he said, what's your favorite rodeo? What's the most important rodeo in your life?" Again, this little 15 or 16-year-old kid cornered me. I didn't have an answer. Like, "Oh, you're killing me, kid." I said, "You know what? The most important rodeo that I will ever announce in my entire life is tomorrow night at 7:30. And I answered that. I don't even know where that came from. I'd never thought about that until that boy asked me that. And I have stood tall on that rock ever since that happened to me. We had a little revival meeting there at the bottom of that staircase, it seemed like, because those were 2 pivotal points for me that I kind of taught myself, because I didn't even know it until this kid asked me. I did not know this kid from Adam. Anyway, fast forward. Don't want this story to get boring, but it's really cool at the end. So fast forward 10 or 12 years. I'm working the rodeo, and there's new clowns and new sound men come along. Brad Narducci, who lives in Columbia Falls, Montana, right up the road. He's the sound man there now. And for the last 4 or 5 years, we're visiting along. Him and I are doing a sound check one day, and we're up there, and he said, "Kelly," it's just him and I. He said, "Kelly, got something to ask you." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Do you remember about 15 years ago, right there at the bottom of these stairs, talking to a little Indian boy?" And I said, "Yeah, I actually do," or 10 or 12 years ago, whatever it was. So yeah, and he said, "Do you remember how that conversation went?" I said, I don't want to say yeah, but not really. He said, "You told that boy that to work hard, keep your nose clean, treat people good, and be honest." And he said, "I've done that." And he said, "That was me." Brad Narducci's now the main music director for the PBR. He's got the career of all careers in the music business. Yeah. And he's an announcer. Yeah. He has got the ultimate life doing what he does. He said that little conversation we had there made an impact on me. And it took my breath away. I've known Brad forever, and I did not know that boy that day was him. Because there was about a 10 or 12 or 15 year gap there where I didn't see him. Yeah. Anyway, I learned real quick that words can be powerful, and I think John and I use that analogy or that fact when it goes back to we can just let people put their problems aside for 2 hours a night and just go have fun when the silly stuff we say, even though it might be goofy or some of it ain't true because we're picking on each other about something, it still means something to those people. Or when we tell the veterans how much they mean to us, and we have what we have because of them. Or when we tell those people we love them, we mean that, and we think, words can be powerful. So anyway, that's a really cool story. Well, so going back to what you asked, though, that's what I'd say: work hard, keep your nose clean, be honest, treat people good.
I think it's phenomenal advice, and we appreciate you for sharing that story. So, John, what's your advice? Because now you have to top that.
Right. Well, I don't know that you can top it. My thoughts would be to make sure that they know it's a lifestyle. Like it's something that you actually you go and do. And with all the glory that we have, I guess, it's fun on the road. Like, don't get me wrong. You get to travel, meet great people, and it's fun. The thing is, sacrifices at home.
It's huge.
You miss first days of school. You miss kindergarten graduations. You miss things, ball games and stuff that you'll never ever get back. You experience a lot of that through FaceTime. And it sucks.
It's a choice.
It really sucks, but it is something you decide, and it's the lifestyle you're gonna live. You don't have a choice.
It comes with huge commitment and huge sacrifice. Even a huger, is huger a word?
Huger, it is.
Today it is.
It's a huger sacrifice.
Yeah.
I haven't spent my own birthday at home in 20 years.
I've had one anniversary with my wife, 17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was the first anniversary I've spent home with my wife. We miss funerals and birthdays and graduations and anniversaries and dinners and holidays I mean this with a big heart. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Does that make it's not, but it is, because it's how we provide for the people that's doing the things that we're missing. It's how we provide for them.
Yes. Yep.
On the back side
You're filling that need. Yeah.
We're filling the need for our families and building a career and making a living and providing for them because we're making those sacrifices. That would be another piece of advice, I guess, is the first thing you better do is accept the fact that it's going to come with a hell of a price. It's not easy.
We're very interested in education and being real here at the Midwest Horse Fair and letting our listeners know, how to get into your position basically and really what it's going to take. And so we appreciate you guys sharing with us today.
So speaking of that, if our listeners want to follow you, find you, talk to you, contact you, how do they do that?
We both got social media platforms. I'm pretty old fashioned. I barely fumble around Facebook. I don't have all the other ones. It's all I can do to keep up with that one. I've got just a pro rodeo announcer, Kenney, on Facebook.
Perfect.
And that'd be the easiest way to end it.
I have a Facebook too. I do not run it, but I do run my own Instagram, Clown John Harrison. Follow me.
Does your wife run that?
My wife
one
runs
too?
the other one.
Shout out. What's your wife's name?
Carla.
Carla's
California girl.
She's a G here.
She takes care of us. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carla.
We call her the warden. She's in charge.
She's in charge.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So let's keep Carla in business and go like and follow those channels.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today.
I've got one other thing.
Absolutely.
It's hard to get me off here.
Yes.
I had just like the rodeo, I had no idea what we were going to talk about.
Yes.
But now we get to go and things just pop up. Another interesting fact about clowns, specialty acts, music guys, and announcers. I'm very safe to say that it's above 50% that are doing what they're doing by accident.
I love that phrase. I love that saying.
And I'm serious, and I'm not exaggerating. There's a lot of clowns and acts that are a clown because they were at a rodeo where the clown either sucked or didn't show up, and he mouthed off and said, "Well, I can do better than that guy." And the boss will say, "Okay, go put some makeup on and show us."
Yes.
God's got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
God does have a plan, and he's way better at it than we are. The last thing on my mind was to be a rodeo announcer, but I was in the right place
Yes,
at
in the right
time
place, in the right time.
where God set it up for me, and I was there and I took advantage of it. But a lot of bullfighters, clowns, announcers, pickup men, they're all there by accident because they were just. So it goes back to the advice. The reason that I'm sitting here today after 30 years and hopefully having 30 more left in me was because I put myself in a position to be around the lifestyle that I loved and wanted to be a part of. The reason John is here is because we put ourselves there. We went to the rodeo. We hung out with the people that we looked up to. We were very careful to pick the ones we hung out with.
Right.
We wanted the ones that were successful and good at it and were quality people that did treat people good and kept a clean nose and were honest. So we surrounded ourselves with those type of people. This will be my last analogy for the day, but it has made my life wonderful to me. Is I have one of the biggest accomplishments I'll ever give myself credit for is I've worked hard to surround myself with successful, honest, hardworking people. Because you're only as good as the people you're surrounded by. And I feel that way with him and his family and all of the personnel here. You surround yourself with good people, you'll be one too.
Love that. Great advice. Well, thank you guys for being here again at the Midwest Horse Fair. We appreciate you, and Yeah.
All the
Thanks for having us.
advice.
One of my favorite events in all the country, Midwest
Yes.
Horse Fair.
Yeah.
If you haven't
Let's go.
ever been here, you got to come check it out.
Absolutely. All right.
Next time, let's do an hour next time.
Let's do an hour next time. And we're bringing Carla. Carla's coming with.
2 hours.
All right. Well, thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
The Midwest Horse Fair is proudly presented by the Wisconsin State Horse Council Incorporated for over 40 years. Net proceeds from the fair are used by the Wisconsin State Horse Council to promote the equine industry through leadership, education, service, and communication, as well as taking a proactive role in the future growth and development of the equine industry. Thanks again for listening to the Midwest Horse Fair Outside the Arena podcast, where we share stories from expert horse clinicians and entertainers. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and continue to tune in every month and learn about the lives and hear valuable advice from the folks we are proud to have join us at the fair. Learn more about the Midwest Horse Fair at MidwestHorseFair.com.
It's not a horse show. It's a horse fair and you gotta be there. It's the great Midwest Horse Fair.